Clutch Sports Radio. Welcome. You know what's really funny is that I just looked over. We're obviously recording this, and I look over and I noticed that I'm big time slacking off. And look at Coleman. Just complete opposites. That's hilarious. Coleman, you're looking fresh, and I'm looking like a bum. And that's just how it goes. But that's all right. Welcome everyone to Clutch Sports Radio. Really excited. Thank you for joining us, for watching us and supporting us last week. We know you did. So thank you very much. We appreciate all that good stuff. We have lots to talk about. Kind of all kinds of crazy feelings, I think, with the Washington Capitals. There's the NBA playoffs going on. Not much really, Coleman, going on the football side of things and sports altogether, but tons going on with this Washington Capitals. But before we get there, let me just ask you, how's your week? How are you?
Man, it's been busy, but in the world of sports, it's been quite depressing. All my Washington teams, man, they can't even put in points on the board.
No.
Caps.
We'll get to the sports, but your week other than that?
Good. That's good.
Rainy, kind of depressing at times. Yesterday, 90 degrees, dude.
Yeah, it's getting up there.
That's pretty crazy. So let me share a little something with you, non-sports. So I came across this article about a senior in high school, who ended up bagging an 800-pound record alligator in Texas.
Is that a thing? Do you catch alligators?
He shot it. Apparently, they baited it with chicken, and raw chicken, and then they ended up shooting it. And they were granted a 5-day permit to hunt in Doherty Wildlife Management area in South Texas, about 90 miles south of San Antonio. Yeah, and they say that it was 14 feet 3 inches long, approximately anywhere from 30 to 50 years old, this alligator. But
wow.
Texas, they make the animals are ridiculous. Have you ever watched the Wild Hogs, that show on Nat Geo? And, there's all kinds of crazy-ass animals in Texas. So for this to be a record breaker in Texas, that's a big deal. That's a big gator, dude. 800 pounds.
What are they going to do with it? Make a lot of shoes?
I don't know. What would you do? I guess you would skin it and keep it and preserve it, right?
People eat the meat, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Doesn't everything taste like chicken, supposedly?
Apparently.
I heard that tasted like chicken too.
University of Florida can't be too happy.
No. Yeah, I know. But, dude, check this picture out, man. Like,
that thing is
look
massive.
At that. That's on a John Deere.
Massive. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. Hunting alligators. That's cool, I guess. That's international. That's probably pretty dangerous.
Everything has a season.
Yeah, so football season's over. Let's go hunt some gators.
No, what I'm saying is every animal has a season that you can hunt it. Is what I'm saying. Like, man, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy, but that's pretty awesome. I thought 800 pounds of an alligator. That sucker's been around for a while. That's even not that long.
A lot of dinners and a lot of gator skin shoes.
That's not even that long. If you think about a gator, for him to only be around 30 to 50 years old. What's the lifespan of an alligator?
I know the lifespan of a Florida Gator quarterback in the NFL is not very good.
No. Look at Tebow. Yeah, definitely.
Tebow, Grossman, Danny Warfel. I don't know. I thought 30 to 50 years was rather high when you said it initially. They can't live that long. That's ridiculous.
Let me see. I'm Googling it right now. I'm trying to see. There are records of alligators living from 73 to 100 years in captivity. So that's man. It had a while to go. You know what? I thought they lived longer than that. I guess. How much longer can you live than 100 years?
That's incredible. I'm learning, man. I'm learning right now.
You know that gator ate a lot of chickens and a lot of people's crops. Not crops, but like people. Maybe ate a person. No, come on now. But anyways, I thought I'd share that non-story with you, non-sports story, just because I like gators, and I don't hunt. I never have hunted, but I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been a hunting guy myself, but if I started hunting, I don't think I would start with gators.
I wouldn't start with a gator either. I would. No.
Some a little less dangerous,
Do
probably.
you know? Have you watched that hog show, dude, on TV?
No, I don't catch up.
So they have a Jeep, a Wrangler, okay? They have these dogs, like whatever, like most of them are beagles actually. And some of them are a few are bigger than the beagles, and so they have the dogs going around sniffing, and as soon as they see a hog or the dogs catch a scent of a hog, they start booking the hog. The dogs get to the hog first, and then the dudes follow the sound of the dogs and the hog, and they get out, they jump out, and they go to wrestle some of them, take it down, tie it up, put it in the back. There's some freaking crazy ass hogs there, man. You know, there's some big ass hogs there. That's crazy, is what I'm saying.
So that's what you're gonna. That's the
have a hog business. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I can see you wrestling a hog.
I've been watching a lot of TV, and we're gonna finish this very soon. I've been watching a lot of TV lately in terms of Nat Geo.
Sounds like a little bit too much.
And I've seen a lot of I know. I've seen a lot of the show with like there's the Falcons, like how some Falcons live in, you know, how a lot of them live in our power lines. You just got to look up. And Falcon's a cool ass bird, you know.
Yeah.
A falcon, like the way it hunts. I like all that stuff. I think it's pretty cool. And this is a nerd in me, Coleman. I like the Falcons. So now
we should just have a
straight, no joke, Coleman. I'm like bigger nerd.
We should. I'm driving and Geographic for a show.
I'm constantly driving and going like this. Looking for the dang falcons in the power lines, man. I've spotted vultures, like
crows.
You would be amazed. You never think that you see a vulture like you see in Africa. Hey, we have those looking vultures too here, similar, not just like that. You got to pay attention to them. They're in our backyard.
Man, we need football season back.
Clutch Sports Radio. That's pretty funny, dude. That's really hilarious, actually. So let's get started. Let's end this. We'll be right back. Clutch Sports Radio. Check us out, darwin-sports.com.
For your Washington Redskins, and you're listening to Chuck Norris Radio, Darwin Member Records on Clutch Sports
Radio. That was our friend Nick Sundberg, Clutch Sports Radio. Check us out Thursdays. Darwin-sports.com is where you can watch this show. So please tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone. Darwin-sports.com. We're going to get into a little bit of Caps talk now. But before we do so, I had a pretty cool day. I met up with former Washington Redskins wide receiver Darnarian McCants today. And he has a little thing going on called Pro Power Performance. He is a personal trainer and health advisor and you name it. So I actually did a little workout with him. He worked me out and it was pretty cool. So
wow.
It was exciting.
I used to love McCants.
You remember McCants?
Yeah, he had great hands. I feel like he
did.
Touchdown machine.
He's a big body, you know?
Yeah.
Tall dude. Like, we haven't seen a tall dude like that in Redskins in a while since him and Rod Gardner.
Rod Gardner, yeah.
Pretty much. They were almost around the same time. But anyways, it was really cool working out with him today. So, thank you. Check him out. Pro Power Performance. Darnarian McCants. Google him. All that good stuff. You'll find it all. He has big things going on. He's got really cool shirts, actually. It says, look good naked. I like him. Has a big P. Of course, Darnarian would do that, but it's catchy. I like it. I got to get me one of those. My man, got to look good naked. Hey, that's what we're going to the gym for. You know what I'm saying? So we can look at ourselves. That's about it. Look at ourselves. We're the only one that appreciates ourselves naked. Some of you don't even do that, so I'm sorry. All right, let's get on with it. Caps talk. Dude, I mean, Coleman, let me just be completely honest with you. This was the first season in several seasons that I was not glued to the TV every time I knew there was a Caps game on. I was very nonchalant. You can call me a fair weather fan. You can call me whatever. First of all, I had a lot going on. But you know what? That's excuses. Because if I really wanted to do it, I would do it. I have an Ovechkin sweater. Jersey. Sweater.
Mm-hmm.
I did not wear it once this season. my heart was not into it whatsoever.
You were
From
still
the way
locked
that
out.
they started, yeah, they got themselves together, and Ovechkin came on a little strong. I just was never a believer of this season. I was never one. They lost me. And it's a shame. And you know what? I wasn't there. And the way that it happened, and then going to the playoffs, and having to go to game 6 and 7, and doing all that. Why can't you finish it off, man? I'm sick and tired of that. Why can't you finish the series like a good team does? Why do you have to go to game 7? And what makes me really sick, and I'll let you go, not sick, but really upset, is that I just recall the days, they weren't so long ago, that when you played a game at the Verizon Center, it was a W. We can't even win in our own home Game 7, knowing what we're supposedly the better team. We match up well against the Rangers. We have their number for the most part, and it just didn't happen. The way that it happened and the place that it happened, it just sucks, man. I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm glad that I didn't tune in the season. I really am.
Well, I mean, a lot of people probably agree with you. I mean, it's just looking like we play the Caps seasons on repeat. I mean, look at the last 5 years. 4 out of the last 5 years, they finished first place in their division, so they've done a great job in the regular season. A couple of years, they even finished as the best team in the NHL, but they've failed to advance past the conference semifinals. All right, 4 of those 5 years as well, they've lost in the 7th game. All right, they can't close it out in the clutch when they're supposed to be winning those games. And the other series that they lost, where they didn't lose in 7 games, they got swept. So it's starting to kind of feel like, to me, as a Caps fan going into next season, it's like, gosh, it doesn't really matter about the regular season. We can have a great year, but once we get to when it really matters, we're gonna flop, and that's what it's kind of proven to be. And it's happened time after time after time. The last 2 years, it happens to be the Rangers, which is a little, it stings a little bit more because a little bit of a rivalry there. Lundqvist is a guy that we probably never want to see again.
No.
He just dominates us. But, I mean, they just can't find a way to get it done when it really matters the most.
Does that surprise you? Were you expecting anything different this season, even after their little run that they put to get into the playoffs?
So this year, it doesn't really surprise me, just because I just didn't feel like the team was really all that great. I mean, yeah, sure, they got really hot. It's almost like they peaked too soon, to be quite honest with you. So that kind of gave fans some hope and felt like this actually could be the year. But it doesn't really surprise me this year. The years where it did surprise me is when they were finishing as the best team in the NHL and then getting the number 1 seed and losing to a team like Montreal. I mean, an 8 seed. I mean, that shouldn't happen. That doesn't happen in other sports. I guess it happens in hockey quite a lot. The Kings won as an 8 seed last year. But, those years, it surprised me a little bit more than this year. One positive thing, though, which I think Caps fans should look at, is that we found a way. I don't know if it's the system. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's the players, the personnel. But Ovechkin turned it around and was back on the top of the charts in goals, scored for the NHL this year, which I think is great. And obviously he's their MVP. He's really the soul of that team. So to see him have a good, strong year, it is great. And hopefully that translates into more success next year.
Well, what happened? What good does it do for him to get his act together and be at the top in those numbers again when he was a no-show in the playoffs?
Exactly.
When it counted, that C that he wears on his chest was not exercised.
So,
and then when it was the last game, when he got all angry and was playing with passion and throwing his stick down on the ice, what for? That's a little too late. You know what I'm saying?
I would like to see some of that passion in Game 3 when he was kind of just drifting back on defense and let a guy score pretty much wide open net goal. But hey, Ovechkin, yeah, you can say what you want about him. There's a lot of negative things to say, and there's a lot of negative things to say about what he did in this series. It kind of disappeared after Game 1. She came out in Game 7, fired up, ready to go. But you mentioned that C on his chest. Something I don't think a captain should be doing is what Ovechkin's been doing after the series has been over. He's been kind of pointing the finger at the NHL, pointing the finger at other people, talking about how they forced this Game 7 to happen for money and whatnot. No, that's not what happened. The Caps were the only people to really blame at the end of the day as to why they lost the series. And that's not a very captain-like thing to do.
It's not, because at that point you're just pointing fingers, and not only that, but Tortorella came out and said that he heard a lot of whining on the Cap side throughout the entire series. Complaining about this, complaining about that. He's like, we just went out and played. Not only that, but even the Rangers players came out and said that they got their act together in that series because they looked around the locker room and realized that the possibility of those guys being together next season was probably slim. A lot of those guys, that team was going to be torn apart. So they liked what they had. They appreciated the passion, the camaraderie, the teamwork that they played with each other and came together and took that team to victory in that series. The Caps, are you not in the same boat? Come on, you are in the same boat. You just didn't have that. You didn't have that sense of urgency. You haven't had that sense of urgency for quite a bit, and that's what I don't understand. You can't turn it off and on all the time. You used to be able to do that when you used to outscore people several seasons ago. When you were a different team, you were set up differently. You went out there and you played differently. You were leading the NHL in power plays. You were leading the NHL in goals. Everybody was on your offensive side of the puck because you played that way. You're not that team anymore. You don't have those players anymore. You can't be that way.
And it might even start at the top. I mean, we talk about leadership and who's blaming who. I mean, George McPhee comes out and even talks a little bit about the refs and whatnot. And really, I think they should be looking internally and figuring out ways to right the ship and get everything going in the right direction before they look out and try to blame other people. Yeah, sure. The refs were bad in Game 3. They were bad in Game 6. Happened to go in the Rangers' way. But good teams overcome adversity, and they didn't do that.
No, I have here an audio that I'm going to play courtesy of Monumental Network, John Carlson in his exit interview, so we can take a look, listen to him, what he has to say. I actually haven't listened to this. I did, however, listen to Backstrom, and I also want to talk about what Backstrom had to say in his exit interview, which kind of amazed me.
I love so much this season. And a lot of guys have said good players become great players and all that through the way he's coached this season.
Well, I think his number one, his mentality is great. He's got a positive outlook, and I think going through the first part of the season there, when things weren't going too hot, he left positive messages in our heads the whole time. He was almost to the point where at sometimes you just wanted to get yelled at. We were not performing and winning the way we should have then, and it was obviously a good thing because the tides turned and all of that stuff that he did, I'm sure paid off for us.
Compounding on that, he would always tell us after games that he wouldn't talk to you guys even if it was a disappointing loss or whatever. Is that different from how it was done, I guess, previous? And do you like that as a player?
Well, no coach really talks after the game. I don't think anyone wants to let their emotions say stuff that maybe they don't mean right after the game. It's just as players, sometimes it's tough to talk to the media after a game because number one, you can't really assess the whole game in 5 minutes after the game. Your thoughts are stuck somewhere else.
It's still hard to assess this season 2 days later. What will you take from this moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you start thinking and, you think of things you could have done better, games you could have won, stuff like that. But, yeah, you'd be thinking about it all summer.
Are you tired of hearing these exit interviews in the first round, man?
Yeah.
Second round at most. Sorry.
That's not a year we don't hear an exit interview.
But it's just depressing. Blah, blah, blah. It's depressing. Of course, how can it be happy? It's an exit interview. But, dude, this is John Carlson. He had a pretty good series. Backstrom, he's been here longer than Carlson has. He said, one thing, what can you learn about the playoffs? Learning how to play in the playoffs. I'm sure you can't take that literally. The media does, they dissect it, and they're like, really? But Coleman, there's got to be some truth to that. We can't take it 100% literally, but it's pretty much just that. These guys have not learned how to play in the playoffs. The scheme has been changed. From Hunter, it was changed more on the defensive and whatnot, and that was going to win it. It's been changed, and it hasn't been won. Do you still, with all this said and done, being here the day that we are today, right now, do you ever look back and think, where are you, Gabby? Where did you go?
Well, I actually I kind of like the way that the Caps are heading with Adam Oates. I mean, I like him as a coach. It seems like the players like him as a coach. I think he's more of a player's coach per se, and because he's been there. I mean, he's done it. He's played in playoff games for the Caps. He's a long-time Caps guy. He knows how players should be coached and how they want to be coached. And I think that'll start to translate. I think it did start to translate as this season went on, and I think it'll start to translate even more next year. Or at least I can hope that will happen. As for winning in the playoffs, if his system is kind of molded around that, I actually think so that it is more so than Hunter's. Hunter's system was too defensive. It was kind of set up to play in a 1-2 goal game, kind of like some of the games they played, because a lot of times that's how the playoffs go. But I actually like Adam Oates' system a little more. It seems a little bit more well-rounded. And I think it's a system they could have won with in this series. I think it's other things that ultimately led to their defeat.
I agree. So what are you doing? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to next season? Are you glad it's over? What are your last feelings?
So they've got some work to do. Mike Ribeiro is going to be a free agent, and he might even be the most sought-after free agent on the market coming up. So he's probably a guy that's going to be gone, to be quite honest with you. And they're going to have to find a way to replace him. And you also look at what they did at the trade deadline this past year, giving up their youngest stud in Forsberg. And so you kind of look to next year, and it doesn't look like there's going to be that much more there in terms of personnel to really help them right the ship. But you never know. I mean, you still got a good core amount of those guys together. But going into next year, what makes you think that those core guys that have been togetn't and haven't been able to win in the playoffs together can ultimately do it? So,
exactly.
Hey, we'll see.
I'm pretty upset. Like I said, didn't buy in this season. Call it whatever you want. It's going to take a lot for me. I'm just tired of mediocrity. You know what I mean? I just don't want a mediocre team. I don't care for that. I just want for them to go out and play. Whether they lose or win, I don't need a winning team. I just need a playing team. I don't think that they played. I think that they decided to play at different parts, and I'm tired of a team playing at different parts. You need to play the whole season. You need to be in it the whole time, and just play, man. Do you realize how gifted and blessed you are to be in the position that you are? Appreciate it. Go do something with it all the time, and that's where I'm at. So I don't know. Till next year, I guess. Again, Washington Capitals talk here. Clutch Sports Radio. You're watching us. Check us out. Darwin-sports.com. Darwin-sports.com. We'll be back.
This is Adam Carricker, and you're listening to Clutch Sports Radio.
Clutch Sports Radio. Adam Carricker. Thank you, amigo. Check us out. Darwin-sports.com. Appreciate it. By the way, before I forget, this football, Coleman, you're not going to take it again. I see you. All kinds of good people. Fred Davis, Trent Williams, Ryan Kerrigan, Santana Moss, Adam Carricker. This football signed by those guys. You can win it. For information, go to darwin-sports.com. But basically, I'll let you know right now, you have to email us at clutchsportsradio@gmail.com. Again, clutchsportsradio@gmail.com. And you have to just let us know why you're the biggest Redskins fan. 1, 2, 3 sentences. A few folks have done a little bit more with links, articles, by the way, that they've been featured in the post. We've gotten some pretty good entries. So you got to bring your game when you do this. Please, clutchsportsradio@gmail.com, and let us know why you're the biggest Redskins fan. To win this football for free, you'll get it. Cool stuff. So let's get on with it. Nationals talk, Coleman. How do you like your Nats? Bryce Harper, he's injured like myself, or I'm always injured. I'm an old dude. What do you think?
Yeah, the Nats have kind of had a tough week. It seems like. I talked about at the beginning of the show that there's no offense in DC right now.
No.
I mean, the Caps, they couldn't score a goal. The Nats now can't hit. So it just seems like one thing after another. They had one game last week, I guess Friday night, the Cubs. I was actually there. Offensive explosion. Now the next couple games and this week they can't hit. They can't get guys around. I mean, it's getting kind of ugly. And I mean, the reason being, I mean, there's bats that are out of their lineup. I mean, Jason Worth isn't there playing. Bryce Harper has been out a couple games this week. Adam LaRoche is starting to, act like his normal self. But really, I look at some of the guys that play in more of the utility positions, even coming off the bench. To really kind of look at them, they are guys that used to be hitting. Espinosa, he can't hit
Nothing
anymore. I mean, he was always struck out a lot, but his power's gone. Then it's like, hey, you should put in Lombardozzi. Well, Lombardozzi, not so hot this year. Tyler Moore, another name. We had big expectations for him, especially being able to hit a little bit, not doing it at the plate. And then a guy like Roger Bernardino, who's had to fill in a lot for Bryce Harper after he's been out, he's not hitting either. So it's across the board. The Nats are kind of down in terms of hitting, and you'd like to see them get their full lineup in there and their best lineup in there to see if they can start getting some momentum. Because this team, if you look at their lineup from top to bottom, they've got a good leadoff guy. They've got a guy that can get on base and Jordan Span. He's actually been doing pretty well this year. But this is a team that could actually hit. I mean, we could actually see them being a good and highly productive offensive team, but unfortunately one thing or another has kind of kept them from doing that so far this year. And they're trying to kind of have to lean on the pitching, which was a little suspect at the beginning of the year and kind of a reason they got off to a cold start. But hey, you got guys like Dan Herron starting to turn it around a little bit. Jordan Zimmerman might be the best pitcher in the league right now. And then Strasburg, Gio, and Ross Detweiler, all guys that have proven themselves before to be, good arms. So
solid.
I'm not panicking yet. I still think the Nats can get really hot on both offense and defense, and I'm really looking forward to that hopefully happening soon.
With that team and those players, it really can just click, be turned on with those guys. It's so mental that if they get over their funk, you have guys that have been shown to hit, just like you just went down that whole list. Adam LaRoche, et cetera, et cetera.
Adam LaRoche is the guy that,
I remember Adam LaRoche was hitting like a monster.
People were talking about, obviously Nats fans were like, oh, MVP last year. This year he's hitting 214. That's just not Adam LaRoche numbers, and that's actually after he'd been getting better. Still he only has 4 home runs. I think he hit like 30 last year, 30 plus. So, yeah. That's a guy, if they can get him,
a baller.
If they can get him going.
Do you think there's a problem because Ryan Zimmerman is using a pink bat when he goes to? I'm just kidding. That was just a joke. Did you see that though?
No.
His pink bat. I think it was Saturday. Yeah. I forget who they were playing.
Oh, there was a whole thing though. Didn't they all do it because it was
everybody did like the gloves and the shoes.
Yeah, I saw
some people didn't even do the shoes.
Okay.
Zimmerman went out there, gloves, shoes, bat.
There you go. Yeah, no, because
he actually hit a home run. The commentator was like, "Oh, with that bat, you need to back it up," and bam, hits it out there. It was beautiful.
Yeah, now talk about Zimmerman. His arm still just, I don't think it's there. I don't know what is going on there, but a guy that they've kind of talked about maybe moving to second or first later in his career, that might be happening sooner rather than later. Maybe, I don't know how long LaRoche's got left in him, maybe another couple of years, but that's maybe a guy, Ryan Zimmerman, you shift over to first base because right now he can't throw the ball to Adam LaRoche. You saw in a game, I think it was Saturday, they started off against the Cubs and Strasburg was dealing. I mean, he has struck out 6 people for like 4 innings. And Ryan Zimmerman, with 2 outs, had a throwing error to first base. And they ended up giving up, 6, 7, 8 runs with Strasburg in there. And that was pretty much the game. And Strasburg looked like he was flustered by that error by Ryan Zimmerman. But the thing with Ryan Zimmerman right now is that when he's making these errors, they're actually really costing the Nationals because it's leading to runs for the other teams. A lot of times, you might make an error, but you get out of it anyway, and your pitcher kind of saves you. It seems like every time this year, it's really translated into some offense and some runs for their team, and runs is something they can't give up right now with them not being able to hit.
Exactly. Not them not being able to put any runs on, you can't give them up. No way, no how. So I'm still in there. I still get excited when these guys are playing.
Sure.
I'm watching these games because you never know the magic that these guys can bring to the table. Bryce Harper, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, him hitting that wall, I had a similar play this past week in the outfield. Ran into my dude. We ran into each other. Didn't call the ball.
Yeah.
It was good. He has me by like 30 pounds, though. We ran into each other. Both of us just went off each other. And people were like, how did you not go flying? I was like, dog, you don't even know what's underneath. Because of the secret that's under their shirt. That's why. All right,
somebody's got to tell Bryce, though, when he starts feeling dirt underneath his feet, or when he looks down and sees dirt and it's not grass, you better slow down. He's on the warning track.
Sure.
You gotta quit running into walls, man.
That was Gus Frerotte all over again.
Oh,
Jeez Louise. But not. NBA playoffs. The Chicago Bulls and the Oklahoma Thunder are knocked off. Out. OKC out. See ya. Bulls, that was expected, although they came out that first game and shocked everyone. Shocked the crowd.
What I said,
and that's the only shock that they ever supplied you guys.
What I say, whoever's making a big deal about that,
it was nothing.
It's going to be 4-1, 5-1, tops.
Dude, that was it.
4-1, 4-2, tops.
It got them mad. They came back, the Heat, and put it on.
I'll give the Bulls credit, though. They kept it close in
they sure did.
In a bunch of games.
A for effort.
Yeah.
But that's all it was. It wasn't going to be done. Derrick Rose, you're a punk for not coming back, not even trying. Come on, dude. Everybody plays through injury. I understand. But at what point are you? I mean, I just don't know. I can't believe that this guy is not even worth giving it a shot. Like, he's out there warming up before every game. He's doing these things. I just can't. If he's doing and cutting and breaking, shooting and passing and jumping and doing all these things before, why can't you be doing it in the game? At least try it once, at least at some point during these series. You just didn't. I don't know.
What I'm really surprised
at. I'm a Derrick Rose fan. I like that dude. That dude's a monster.
That's why you want to see him on the floor then, right? Yeah, but what I'm really surprised at is what's happening out west. I mean, the Warriors giving the Spurs all they can handle. Obviously, it's 3-2 right now, San Antonio. But Steph Curry, I mean, he had a pretty bad game. He and Klay Thompson, we talked about last week on the show, had a bad game. And they were still kind of in it. I mean, the 2 nights ago.
But that can't last. That's not going to last.
That can't happen again. Obviously, if they want to avoid elimination tonight. But just the fact that it's 3-2 and they're giving them a series is what they're giving them, and that's really impressive. I mean, I think everybody was pretty much picking the Spurs in 4, 5, maybe 6, which still could happen in 6. But I mean, they're giving them a hell of a series out there.
Yeah, I think it's a heck of a series. It's a heck of the whole series for the most part, minus the blowouts. But they've been, just like you said, close blowouts. It's been great. And Curry, I just feel like they had it won, man. That first game when they could have gotten that W in San Antonio, and they were right there. And they just couldn't close it out. And they let San Antonio come back, take them into overtime. And they ended up losing that game. Like, you had it won. You came back the second game and you got that W in San Antonio. Whatever. That's exciting. But that first game, man, I don't know. And Curry, you are the leader of that team. You need to get it together. You need to be consistent, because that's what a leader is. Consistent all the time. You can't give up. Your legs can't get tired. You gotta be resilient. You gotta keep going, my man. It's the playoffs.
Look at Memphis.
It's do or die time, my man. Do or die time.
Memphis is hot. A lot of people think that they're going to
What
get
is
to
up with
the
Memphis,
finals.
the Grizzlies?
And
I just have a problem with the name Grizzlies. I don't know. I like Bears, and again, Nat Geo fan over here. Watched a few Brown Bears, and even they were. By the way, do you know in the state of California? I know, I'm telling you, dude. A lot of Nat Geo in my life. State of California, hunters are actually going for bears to killing them. You're allowed to kill bears a certain amount. I think 1 per season or something like that. Yeah, I could be wrong, but they're taking their gallbladders and they're selling them on the black market and getting a lot of money for that. If you see somebody take a gallbladder and leave the bear, report them to Fish and Game. That's all I'm saying, Coleman. Report them.
Well, the Grizzly Bears, they're pretty good.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. If San Antonio ends up getting to the conference finals and playing the Grizzlies, that's gonna be a great series. I mean, they knocked them out. Was it last year or 2 years ago? And I mean, the Grizzlies are a well-rounded team. I mean, each game in that series against the Thunder, I mean, you had Zach Randolph lead them in points. Game 1, Conley in game 2, Gasol game 3, Conley again, and then Zach Randolph. I mean, they got a couple core guys that really carry them. But then they got some other pieces too that, I mean, hunker down, play defense, something that's sought after in the NBA. But I'm excited to see them potentially match up against San Antonio in the next round.
Randolph provides that passion for that team, man. They're playing balls out. They're playing good basketball. Westbrook, the loss of Westbrook for OKC was a big loss, obviously. And Kevin Durant, again, we've talked about it here. Is he a Batman? Is he a Robin? And it just seems like maybe he's a Robin. There's a cool blog on pickfactor.com, by the way, that I saw today on something along those lines of what is this guy doing? Is he just waiting for somebody to take the lead, or is he going to ever take it himself? So that's the thing about them. But, Memphis, they played. They did what they needed to do. Very impressive. Yeah. Very impressive. They needed to take care of business. They saw blood in the water, and they freaking attacked. And they got that W. It's just weird to see them in the Western Semi-Conference Finals.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be very
conference semifinals.
That'd be crazy to see if they got to the finals. A team like Memphis, not a major market, see them go up against a team like maybe like the Heat. That would be pretty crazy.
It would imagine if it was an underdog, and they win. That would be crazy.
Grizzlies won. My goodness, yeah, that'd be nuts.
That would be the craziest. Anything you want to share with these beautiful people before we let them go?
Nah, man, I want to see some emails about the football. So
DarwinDiceSports.com. Email them. ClutchSportsRadio@gmail.com. ClutchSportsRadio@gmail.com. Let us know why you think you're the biggest Redskins fan in this football with dudes that you'll find on who you want to know who's signing this ball. Go to DarwinDiceSports.com. Check it out. Names are there, and you can win it just by emailing us 2 sentences, ClutchSportsRadio@gmail.com. 2 sentences. You might not win, though. Just letting you know. Because
no essays,
no essays. No essays, because I don't have that kind of time. Pictures help. Just kidding. just kidding.
Pictures of Grizzly Bears, Gators, and Falcons.
Yes.
I would love those.
Yes. And if you can send me a picture of the Game in Life badge or the Game and Fish, you know what I mean? The dudes, they're like sheriffs, but they're like Game and Fish, and they look like rangers. They have badges too.
Yeah.
If you can find me a badge, it's yours. You can buy me by a badge of Game and Fish Wildlife. Hello, Darwin. This is Game and Fish Wildlife. Can I see your licenses, please? I'm just saying, that's what they do, Coleman. I've lost, Coleman. I'm going to lose you, too, if I don't let you go. DarwinSports.com. We will see you soon. Have a good week.